Hey everybody, my name is Matthew Gibson, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Fusion 360 once again. In this episode, we're actually going to go a little bit more into what extruding has to offer. Essentially, the tab over here with Resolve and Loft are going to be our big focuses for today, where Resolving helps you draw things like pipes and discs and stuff like that, while Lofting helps you essentially make a 3D volume for two different shapes that you have. And so first things first, we're gonna move out of this cluttered workspace into a new one, just to help clear things up. And we're gonna draw a pipe. And the way that you would extrude a pipe, the way you would do that is you would create a rectangle or whatever shape you wanted your pipe to be, and you would extrude it in a rotation around an axis at a certain distance, and it would actually make a fully enclosed cylinder or a pipe. And so what we'll do, just to show you what that means, and we're going to get a little fancy with it, is we're going to use our line here, and again, we're going to pick whichever plane we want. It doesn't really matter in this case. Make a horizontal line down 5 millimeters, and then let's just say for whatever reason there's debris or ice or something on the inside of the pipe, so that we can rotate it around and you'll see the jagged edges on the inside, just to get a better visual of how it works. And so what we can do now is we go into Create, Revolve, we click this shape here, and what's important is on the other one it gave you a little arrow you could draw from it because it knew where you were going, what you were drawing. This one, it doesn't know if you're rotating this way, this way, this way, and I'll show you what I mean. If I pick, you click on your axis select over here, and you pick an axis in which to rotate it around. And so if I wanted to rotate it around, and this is why it has you pick it, it's because it doesn't know which way you want it rotated. And so if I pick this axis here, at that distance, you can see how it instantly, at the distance that it is, gives me that pipe. And so let's go back here. Okay. And so it assumes you want 360, but you can click into here onto this little wheel, or you can punch it into here the specific distance you want. You can see all the teeth that I had drawn before are now wrapping around. It's almost like a screw, or like an entrance for a screw versus a pipe or something like that. But you can see how drawing that initial shape, it rotates it around that specific axis. And let's do a half pipe. A gnarly half pipe, dude. Let's do a half pipe. Perfect. And something else important to note is that the axes you pick come off the origin. So depending on the size of what you want, you put it that distance from the origin. I should have explained that earlier, and I apologize for that. But I'll do that when I draw the disc. And so here you are with your revolved extrusion of a shape. And so what I can do now is I can go back into Sketch, and I'll click on, let's say, this plane here. Or no, let's make a new one just to clear things for you. And then this one here. And so let's say I want to make a disc, which is essentially what I just did, but rotating it the other way. And so again, we start our sketch, and we won't, what kind of a disc do we want to do here? We'll do something interesting. We'll see what we can draw. When making a disc, you take the same thing. Actually, let's do something like this. Some crazy shape. It's not really a disc per se, but it's just kind of rotating this. Well, we'll do this and we'll do a disc just to help people see everything that we can do. Well, yeah, so we just take our line here and do the same thing we did before. Let's do the same jagged edges. And I just drew this one down here to be creative, and we'll see what happens in a minute. But we then go back to Create, Revolve, and if we pick this thing here, and depending on which one we decide, axis, right? And so if we pick this axis, we're going to get the rotation that we thought we were going to get. And deselect it. If we try this axis, there's our disc, because it rotates it instead of over the empty space in between here and this is what's really, really important. Instead of rotating it over the empty space here, like this one does. What it does instead is, because between this line and this point there's no space, so it's directly filled in on top of itself, so it becomes a disc. And if, for fun, we can look at the last. Oh, never mind. You actually can't. I forgot. You can't look at. You can't rotate it over this axis here because it would be a plane. It would just turn into a plane. It wouldn't become a 3D extrusion. So you can either rotate it and make a pipe, or you can rotate it and make a disc. And whatever shape you draw, or the little spikes that I made here, will follow you around. And it's very convenient that way. But let's go back into this sketch here. I just want to, for fun, let's we're going to start with a loft, or rather we're going to end with a loft today. So we're going to completely fill this shape in, and it's kind of hard to see on this layout, but you can see that it's a little bit more colored in here, just to kind of show you that it's a filled in shape. And you'll always know if it isn't filled in if it won't let you extrude it. So we're going to loft this shape down to just a regular square. And the way you do that, again, is you have to draw two separate shapes at different heights. And the way you do that is just like in the last video, or one of the previous videos, is you make an offset plane. And so I want to make an offset plane to this, but I want it to loft down after 75 millimeters, right? And then what I can do here is I can go back into here, right click sketch, and we're going to make a circle. Right, I want to do the 2-point circle here because I want to start here and end here. We can make that a little bit. Okay, and enter. Perfect. And now I click this shape again. I can do create, loft, and that's profile 1. And so, okay, this brings up a different menu than the other ones before because you have to pick. And same thing with the other one, picking the axis and picking the degrees and the angle and whatnot. You have to pick the you have to pick the profiles or the faces that you want to loft together. And so the way this has me do it is sharp connected is another way to do it. Or no, I don't want a profile 3. It gets wonky once you get up to the higher level stuff. And so what I mean by that is because I clicked on a point instead of on the circle, it thinks I just wanted to contour or to loft to that specific spot. So what I'm going to do is get rid of this. I'm going to click the circle. And you look, it picks a couple points on the circle for different edges and stuff like that. But as you can see, you have your sporadic shape at the bottom, contour or loft down to a circle. You hit enter, and there's your shape. A little jagged, but that's because of how crazy the bottom shape was. And so yeah, that's the basics of, or that's the topic of like revolved extrusion and lofting. Both very useful for finishing shapes and drawing things that you can't extrude out of a plane normally. Because with any amount of time, you wouldn't be able to draw a plane here and sketch a rectangle and extrude different pieces of it out to these points. That just doesn't make any sense, and it's a waste of time, to be completely frank with you. So again, revolving and lofting are probably the ones you're going to use the most besides the regular extrusion. So thanks for tuning in. My name is Matthew Gibson. I hope you see you next time.